Good morning, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. I hope you're doing well. We are going to start some seeds this morning, even though it's the first week of December. We're going to be working on starting some perennial seeds for the garden. So we had a wonderful Thanksgiving, lots of family in town, and so I haven't been posting. I'm getting back on the horse today. However, you'll have to bear with me. I've had a really bad headache since last night when I went to bed. It's just not going away. Did get in a workout this morning. That actually eased it up for the time that I was working out, which is something sometimes magically happens with that, where my headache will go away while I'm working out, but then it comes back. So we did put our tree up last night, Mike and I did, and I'm slowly getting some things set up in the house. No idea what I want to do up here, so we're working on it. I am hosting a wreath workshop this Saturday, and that's a really popular workshop that sells out every year. I think I'm going to make one and put it in place of the clock so that we'll actually have something up there because I'm kind of going for a nature thing here. Haven't made these in ages, and did them yesterday, and I thought, I think I'd like to just do kind of a natural mantle this year. So I didn't pull out all of the like figurines and things like that I usually do. Just wanted to do something different this year. And in relation to that, this is our amaryllis setup that I did in a previous video, and I decided to just kind of holiday it up. So we strung some fairy lights, and I've got these cute little mushrooms and pine cones and stuff in here, and more moss. So I think that's really cute. These are only here because I don't know what to do with them, but aren't these the most beautiful poinsettias? They are starting to struggle though, losing a lot of leaves. And then this is not going to stay here. This is a grapevine that my sister sent me years ago on my 50th birthday. And I usually fill it with air plants during the regular year. But last year I found that it makes a really cute holiday decoration if you put ornaments and stuff on it. So for now, that's it. We're going to work on outside lights. I want to run lights around the entire garden on the fence line. I think that will be fun. We did that years ago, but then didn't do it for the last couple years, so I'd like to do that again. Okay, getting to the seeds. Let me show you what we're going to start today. And the reason we're starting them now is that on the back of these seed packets, the recommendation is to start these 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost. My last frost is usually late March, early April. However, we're on the books to have a last frost mid-February, but we always get one later than that, or 2 or 3. And I think it's because, again, my house is down in this little tiny valley, very narrow little valley, and we just tend to get a lot colder than our neighbors just 50 feet up the hill. I mentally move my frost date later, my last frost date, because that's how it is in my location. So one of the benefits of keeping records and where you live is that you will determine over time what the averages are for your personal garden. And that can make a huge difference on your success, because if I planned to use the February 15th date that is in the USDA information for my area, then most of my plants would die if I tried to put them out because it's just too early. It doesn't work for us in this microclimate. Keep records, and you might notice that your microclimate is different from your neighbors or people even a mile away, and you'll eventually settle on something that works for you. Okay, so what perennials are we going to start? Now, these are going to go mostly here in the home garden. I will put some of them in pollinator patches out at the farm, but I do want to keep these guys here. I'm going to do a lot of work in the cottage garden this year, pulling out some old stuff, putting in a bunch of new, and it's a lot cheaper to do that if I can grow the perennials from seed. First thing we have is root beer hyssop. I love hyssops. They smell amazing. They grow so well, and the pollinators absolutely love them. Another one here, this is a purple top vervain. Then we have a balloon flower. some catnip, which I grow every year for Raven, and it's good tea for us as well. But again, pollinators love it, and it's just a great herb. And then this is a lavender hyssop. So they smell slightly differently. This one does smell like lavender, and this one actually does have a root beer scent. Then we've got xeranthemum. Now, the only reason I'm doing this is I found it in my seed stash when I was doing some organization the other day. And I've had this for a while, so I've never grown it. I'm just going to go on and start these seeds, and we'll use them where I want, wherever I can find a place for them. These are some gorgeous violas. They're not going to go in the cottage garden. They'll go in some containers, but they're just beautiful. And I'm actually going to pick up some more packets of different colors of violas, so we have a whole variety. Then we have two salvias here, Oxford blue and Victoria blue. I keep a ton of salvias in my cottage garden and the front garden. They just are so great, and the pollinators love them. They come in all different shades of blues and purples, and I can't ever get enough. So I'm always going to start more when I get the chance. Finally, we've got this here as a Maximilian sunflower. I'm dying to know what this is going to be like. This is a perennial sunflower. It's a branching sunflower, and I've heard really good things about it. I've had this seed for over a year, so it's time to start them. Now, I also have a couple seeds here that I'm going to start. This one, they don't have pictures on them or anything, but this one is Gara, which I have in the cottage garden, but it's a short-lived perennial for me, so it's kind of starting to fade. So I'm going to get some more going. This is the Bride. It's a white version. It's beautiful. Very wispy and floaty and just so pretty. And then I have Virginia rose form. I'll put a photo here. Again, had these seeds for a while. Figure I might as well start moving through the seeds that I have in my stash. And finally, a Freesia hybrid called Royal Champion. I'll try to put some photos here for you guys of those. So it's cold outside, not terrible, and it's going to warm up today, but it's going to be really chilly in the greenhouse. So what I'm first going to do is wash some trays. I'm just going to do 6 packs of these, 6 each. So I'm not trying to use all of these seeds. I want to be able to keep them warm in the greenhouse. So I'm going to rig up some doming over them on top of the seedling heat mats to hold in some heat for a while, not only while they're germinating, but while they're continuing to grow a bit, because I don't have the heater set up in there yet. So, all right, I will meet you out in the greenhouse. Okay, so I've got all of my 6 packs set up here with labels and the dates. So doing it the right way. I'm going to go ahead and sow all of these seeds. Some of them might need to be just on the surface, and others might need to be buried. So I'll read the packets. One thing to note, generally with perennials, they take a little bit longer to germinate. And especially since I'm doing it in the winter when it's cold in here, I'm going to be very patient with these. They may take 3-4 weeks to germinate. So I'm just going to be patient. That's one of the reasons I'm starting them now. And they'll get there when they get there. They're going to grow very slowly. Won't be like, except for the violas for the most part, this is not going to be like, growing annuals. They're not going to grow rapidly. So these guys eventually will get bumped up long before I put them out in the garden. So they probably won't go out in the garden until June, maybe July. So we're going to get started. I can't wait to get these sown and feel like we're starting for 2025. Okay, before I start, I'm actually going to sprinkle the tops of these 6 packs with some cinnamon. I don't have any natural, and this will help to kill off some of the fungus gnat larvae that might be in here that we can't see, and prevent them from getting too crazy. Because these guys are going to be in these trays for so long, the possibility of getting the fungus gnats is pretty high. So, especially because it's going to be under a dome. So I'm going to start with this, then we'll start planting. Okay, well, that's it. The first seeds sown for 2025 and beyond, considering those are perennials. We are going to start seed sowing for the 2025 annual season for out at the farm. As you know, all the stuff that's out there already is for 2025. So we have already started those seeds, but this is actually going to be starting seeds in 2025. So in the beginning of January, we'll be coming in here and starting our weekly rounds of seeds for out of the farm. I am reworking the map to reflect what's currently going on out there and to show the additional space that we have. Tomorrow I need to go out there. Hopefully this headache will be over by then. I can go out there and get the weeding done, as well as starting to work on filling the rest of those beds. We only have 3 more to go, and then I can get them all prepared. We'll put the irrigation down and the landscape fabric down, and then cover those beds, those 4 beds, with a silage tarp so that they stay weed-free until we are ready to plant in the spring. One of those beds is the ranunculus, and it's doing great. So I'm excited to take you guys out there and show you how much things have grown in this short period of time. We are not going to have any rain probably till the end of December. So that's many, many weeks without. That means I need to reinstall the irrigation for the 4x6 bed that has the ranunculus, the other ranunculus in it. Those are the maritime variety. Those are very expensive, and I want to make sure that they grow. So I need to get that irrigation installed because they won't be getting water from the sky anytime soon. I also need to reset the irrigation for the dahlia bed, which currently has a cover crop on it. It is starting to grow well. That is buckwheat. And so I'm on the fence about whether or not I'm going to put irrigation on that. It would be good for it because it's not getting any rain otherwise, but when it comes time to kill that cover crop, that irrigation might make things very challenging. So the other thing we're going to do tomorrow when we go out to the farm is more direct sowing. So I have a lot more seeds. I've gone through my seed catalog and reorganized, and I have an inventory page that I keep track of. So whenever I use seed packet completely, I toss it and I mark it off on that seed catalog inventory so that I know if I need to buy more seeds. But I've gone through there and pulled out everything out of my boxes that I'm not going to be growing anymore, or that is old. And so we're going to do a lot of direct sowing. We'll do some more wildflower patches. We'll put in a ton of sweet peas. I probably will still hold out a few to make trays of them. Usually I start them in trays and 6-packs and transplant them. But I think I'm going to try direct sowing them this year. If they do great, great. If not, I'll have some backups. So we'll do that. And I think there's a few more goodies in there that'll be fun to transplant. The other thing I've decided is that since mums, the decorative mums that are out there right now, I mean, they're all done. I need to cut them down. I think I'm going to leave them in the ground. I think I'm just going to cut them off at the base, make sure they're well labeled. Those should come back for me next year. Even the little mums that I buy, in 6-packs at the nursery for like Halloween or whatever in the autumn, those come back for me every year as well, wherever I put them in the landscape. So I know that those heritage mums will come back. I bought some new varieties that are coming this coming year. So then I'm thinking that lower field is just going to be a mum field, and it's not going to be lined with gopher wire. The gophers they killed off all the zinnias that I had planted in that bed, in that area, set of beds. But they only got a couple of the mums. And at this point, the chrysanthemums have really good root systems because they've been there for 8 months. So I'm going to cut them all off at the base. We'll see what happens. If they come back, fantastic. If not, I have another order of the same amount in different varieties coming next year. So this is an experiment. I figure don't pull them out of the ground if there's a chance that they can be short-lived perennials for me. So if that's the case, then I'll have tons of mums next autumn to use in various ways. So that's the plan there. That also cuts down a bit on the work that's needed to be done. We still have plenty of protected space for zinnias and other things that the gophers do like to eat. All right, that's going to be it for me today, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.